Uh-oh, the girls are still fighting. So the forever frat bros that were once part of the Nelk boys are not very happy with each other, as the beef between Kyle and Steve Will Do It seems to be going on to the point where Steve wants to get into the ring with Kyle.
Beef between you and Kyle, you would fight Kyle?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you spoken to Aiden Ross about it?
No, I'll do it for free too.
Really?
I'll say no. I want to give the money to someone, but I would like to. I want to, because if I were to do boxing, I want to be like, people think I just need money or something. But I would do it just to, like, I don't know, just fight them.
What I do find amusing is if you don't know these people and you just had some random name generator pick 2 frat boy names, Kyle and Steve are very likely outcomes. Anyway, in short though, Kyle is one of the founders of the YouTube channel called the Nelk Boys. They originally started with pranks, but eventually became this like frat boy on tour kind of channel. And they started getting some momentum, and that's when they discovered Steve, known as Steve Will Do It. Steve at the time would pretty much do any complete degenerate challenge for views back in the day, and quickly became a main character in the whole Nelkverse, because essentially he would do things that frat boys think are cool, like downing an entire bottle of vodka in one go. And people loved him for that, so they became extremely popular. But behind the degenerate actions, there was actually some chemistry the audience attached to with the camaraderie of the Nelk Boys, and they became extremely successful. They launched a national alcohol brand called Happy Dad. They toured around with the UFC founder and the president of the United States. So I mean, this is a massive rise going from making content at their parents' house to this within just a decade. But as I covered in my last video on this, titled The Girls Are Fighting, there was some trouble in paradise. Also, for the people asking why I titled the video that, it's just funnier than, I don't know, the Nelk boys are beefing or something like that. But regardless, if you see my last video, there's been trouble in the Full Send Paradise for a while now. But just when we thought we were kind of finished with this, Steve decided to bring on a new and even more ridiculous proposal to the table. What is this proposal? Well, Steve has challenged Nelk's supreme leader, Kyle Forgod, to fight in one of Aiden Ross's brand risk events.
Steve's down. Kyle, so far, no answer, but I'll follow up tomorrow.
I mean, if I'm being honest, it'll probably be an entertaining fight. But they're also kind of announcing the fight before the fight is even locked in. I guess that's just to pressure Kyle to sign the documents and make the fight actually happen. But regardless, in addition to this absurd call for Kyle to face him in a boxing match, Steve has also continued to talk smack on his social media about Kyle, Nelk, and even Happy Dad.
I'm Kyle. Love Island. Let me bot views.
I cannot upload for 1 year, and then I upload and I get 6 million views. I'm Kyle Forgard. I gained 1.1 million views overnight, and I gained 0 likes. Bro, you bot. You're a
Which I don't even think is in his best interest, because last time I checked, he was an equity holder in Happy Dad, so why do that to your own brand? Although, if he got it his way, he would probably dump all of his shares today. But hey, once again, we have previous Nelk members weighing in, outside influences like Mike Majlak and Tekashi69 stirring up the pot, and so far, it seems like it's radio silence from Kyle. But as Steve's claims get crazier and crazier, eventually, he might be forced to actually respond to this. And it could even escalate to the point where a lawsuit's filed. Who knows though, but that would be crazy. But if you guys remember, I covered the apparent beginning of this beef just a few months ago when Steve was claiming that he had been ripped off in his deals with Nelk, and I guess went on a bit of a social media circuit to, I guess, continue spreading this.
But if you invest $500,000 right now, we need it by tomorrow, you'll get a free 15% plus an additional 5%, which is 20%. Sent the money, got nothing out of it. Years later, had to threaten them to act. People like to say I'm just, oh, Steve's crazy. No, Steve is fed up.
And to be fair, Steve was actually supposed to be promoting his return to YouTube after he received a lengthy ban for ban evasion. But when the conversation on Impulsive turned into his relationship with Kyle and Nelk, he couldn't help but imply there might be trouble brewing.
Are you genuine friends with all the Nelk boys?
See, Logan.
Bro,
Oh, come on.
I'm just asking
Steve,
questions on a podcast.
it's on our PDF.
It's on the PDF.
Okay.
Egyptian Dana White. Can we just like cut off all operations for a second?
Wait. Is there static or like something going on?
No, there's nothing going on.
Seems like a pretty easy question to answer.
No, we're tight. We own Happy Dad together. We're tight.
And then he followed this up with his appearance on Bradley Martin's podcast, Raw Talk, where he continued to insinuate that he was unhappy with the direction of Nelk and deserved a lot more for his part in Nelk's success.
And it's always like, oh, you make so much money, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But no, all my money that was made from that side of things was 75% of Steve Will Do It merch. When we sold $12 million in Full Send merch, my check was $400,000, okay?
Yeah.
My small percent. Maybe that's just how business is done. I obviously don't operate the same.
Yeah.
But I don't f with bad business, dude.
I get it.
I don't f with lying.
Well, right. So as it stands now, you're sort of separate, except for it seems like Happy Dad, right?
Yeah, dude, we're separate. It's just something, I don't know.
And I guess while they hadn't filmed together in a while, up to this point, I feel like most fans still assumed that the relationship was good. And I mean, again, Happy Dad is supposed to be their shared company. So even if they've amicably gone in their separate ways, like many other Nelk members have done before, I feel like the general assumption would be that they are still professional or even friendly behind the scenes. At the very least, you would hope that they're not looking to start some public beef. Obviously, that wasn't the case, but some people were speculating, saying like, hey, is this some publicity stunt to hype up Steve's YouTube return? But with all the news of, I guess, Steve being ripped off circulating online, Kyle eventually came forward and addressed these claims, proving, I guess, the beef was very much real. And he kept it short and sweet, and honestly, his video made Steve look like he might be airing these grievances just because he's not doing great financially. And I guess is now looking back and trying to find areas of his life that he can squeeze a little bit extra profit out of.
In 2019, Steve signed a deal with Nelk that clearly outlined how he would get paid for merch, brand deals, appearances, everything. A 70% creator split while the company manages full operations is a very strong deal. So I'm gonna pop up something here. It's a year-by-year breakdown of personal cash earnings for me and Steve.
And of course, the whole time, Steve is doing the whole dark Mr. Beast giveaways of cash and wearing outrageous chains, and these videos where he's just like claiming to be in a financial crisis and joking about Kyle's response video.
And all I gotta say is that's a low blow, talking about how much money I made when I'm in a financial crisis. Like, dude,
we give away $100,000 every single week. And to be honest, bro, it's like so much money and it's tough. And I'll be honest, I'm going through a financial crisis.
So honestly, it's hard to say if Steve was ever struggling or simply just, you know, feeling spiteful towards his old friends. But then 3 months passed and there wasn't really too much back and forth, allegedly because Steve didn't even watch Kyle's video.
I didn't watch it. I just got told by people about my financials, how much money I made. But you can ask me anything. We'll just go through it quick.
He then returned to Bradley's podcast just a few weeks ago to rehash the conversation. And I guess this time he exposed a little bit more of the story regarding his investment in Nelk that he says wasn't real.
Yeah, I'm gonna be owner 20%. That's pretty, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
YouTube gets deleted, crypto crash, have no YouTube, have no money, and it's like I don't even have the 20%. It's like what the you're paying $500K for nothing, and then years later, and I wanted my $500K back. It's like, and then when I want it back, it's just like bull. And then I have to like freak out and go crazy and like threaten like, oh, like post about on the internet, whatever, but be like crazy. And it's like, oh, Steve's a crash out.
And he still kept it pretty professional, which is not really how we can say he handled it off the podcast. Because now Steve is back and he's clearly still upset. And he's not only back to calling Kyle and Nelk scammers, but he also, I guess, is bringing Aiden Ross into this picture because he wants to use the platform of brand risk for a boxing match with Kyle. I mean, this literally just sounds fake. And to be fair, I mean, it sort of is kind of like in a sense that Kyle has not responded to the fight invites, despite Steve, Mike Majlak, and even Aiden himself trying to facilitate it.
Who could Steve will do at fight?
Is that real? Would you want to do that?
Yeah, I weigh 184. I think we dropped to $160, $150.
Seeing things go the way they have with these two, it's kind of upsets me a little bit.
Do you like that fight though, Steve and Kyle? That'd be a main event, pay-per-view.
I'll do it for free too.
And honestly, I don't blame them either because like no matter how ridiculous it might be, the hype and attention that this fight would garner would probably be insane because brand risk has been a little bit anticlimactic to say the least when it comes to who's been fighting there. So at least for the brand risk audience, this would be a really big fight. And unfortunately, the way online beef works these days is a boxing match is kind of like the next step. But considering Kyle is clearly ignoring these offers and is, I guess, more focused on the whole Nelk no love dating show and doing fit checks with his gay assistant, I doubt that he's looking to humor this and step into the ring anytime soon. But honestly, what do I know? It's not like I can't say I haven't been surprised here on this channel before. But I mean, that being said, Steve constantly posting that Nelk and Kyle bought their YouTube views and are scamming fans and even prize picks. I mean, that is obviously not a great look for them to ignore. Then you have the whole Happy Dad is a failure, and he still, I guess, is supposed to be one of the largest shareholders in the company. So again, I don't know why he's on a campaign against them, but I find it hard to believe that he would say that about his own business if it wasn't true. even if he wants to get out. Because obviously, the worse the company's doing, the less his shares are worth. So unless they were already not worth much, I'm not sure why he would be doing this. I don't know the truth here. So like, I don't know how much of this can be argued as defamation, if any, but if Steve continues to call Nelk frauds publicly and say that Kyle is too broke and weak to risk losing a boxing match, Steve might actually force his hand here. But again, odds are I think Kyle would want to handle this off of social media. Maybe a lawsuit, who knows? Actually, I feel like that would bring so much more attention on it. I feel like a lawsuit would only be reasonable if Steve was actually lying here. So yeah, it's safe to say this one will be interesting to see. Regardless though, the girls are still fighting. And I guess only time will tell if they start fighting physically or not in a ring. But hey, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.